Major news for seniors and retirees. A new analysis has been released on Social Security. It is expected that Social Security checks face $17,000 cut without changes. There's roughly a $1,500 cut every single month, and lawmakers are expected to approve a solution this fall. And Social Security is on track to cut benefits to retirees in 2023, when its trust fund reserves are forecast to be depleted. And according to a new analysis, the reduction could be substantial. Unless the program is shored up before 2033, the typical newly assisted retired dual earner couple will see their Social Security checks reduced by $117,000 annually. The report showed that a newly retired couple with one earner would see a cut of $13,000. In the analysis, which is based on current dollars, doesn't forecast the impact of newly retired single earners, but the Social Security Administration has estimated that benefits will be cut by 23% unless the program is strengthened. Those cuts could prove devastating to roughly 50 million older Americans who receive checks, with the committee responsible for a budget saying that senior poverty will rise significantly soon. Still, there are plenty of proposals to fix the problem with funding shortfall, either by raising taxes or increasing the retirement age, or a combination of two. The current average monthly benefit check for single earners is $1,800. Even some Democratic lawmakers and left-leaning policy experts say that there is a simple fix to smash the cap, which refers to the Social Security tax cap. The cap is a feature of the program since the 1930s, following the Great Depression, meaning that the income over that level isn't subject to payroll tax. But in 2023, this year, the tax cap stands at $160,000, which means any income above the amount is exempt from the payroll tax. And critics say this place is the burden of funding for Social Security. Eliminating the cap would actually stabilize the subject higher earners and actually generating additional revenue for Social Security. Some Republican lawmakers are right-leaning experts and are opposing the high taxes, and instead have proposed raising the retirement age. Last year, Republican lawmakers have floated this idea. Yet critics point out that many people can't work until they are 70 due to health issues. But another important factor is SNAP. Washington State SNAP will start issuing food stamps for the month of August in 6 days. They are taking action.
We should focus on getting more value out of colleges rather than giving them another reason to hike prices. Sadly, the only place that's been focused on is in my own home state, where Mitch Daniels, ex-governor of Indiana, froze tuition into 10 years. That's getting more value out, and that's why their enrollment has gone way up. With a national debt of nearly $31 trillion, we can't continue to pile on more debt. When Senator Scott and I got here just a little over 3.5 years ago, we were $18 trillion in debt. We throw trillions around now like we used to, hundreds of billions, and it's on the backs of our kids and grandkids every time we do it. Today, federal student aid owns $1.6 trillion in outstanding federal assets. In other words, student loans. The loan program needs to be completely redone so that colleges are motivated to lower costs. This is an excuse to do the opposite. Finally, President Biden's actions are illegal in the first place.
To American families, it's about showing the American and the American people that democracy still works in America, notwithstanding all the talk of its demise. Not just for the privileged few, but for all of us. You know, I swore an oath of office to you and to God to faithfully execute the duties of this sacred office. To me, the critical duty of the president is to defend what is best about America. And that's not hyperbole. Defend what's best about America, to pursue justice, to ensure fairness, deliver results.
Unfortunately for the millions of people who are benefiting from this program, it expired in December. Now, Senators Sherrod Brown and Michael Bennet, two of the strongest advocates for the child tax credit, rose in opposition to Bernie Sanders' amendment. Not because they didn't like it, but because its adoption would have jeopardized the cheaper prescription and billions of dollars more for green energy promised by the Inflation Reduction Act. The expanded child tax credit the Democrats created in 2021 paid parents as much as $300 per child. For 6 months, the credit dramatically reduced child poverty, a taste of the kind of child allowance that for decades has been a standard part of the welfare state in other rich countries. Now, the IRS has announced, everybody, that Americans may have to wait a bit longer before they're going to receive the extra stimulus checks. Several governors and state leaders are continuing to push for new legislation that would only establish new stimulus programs for people. This would include bonus check for many residents, and also the IRS. The service, now friends, this service may be part of the IRS official name, but the tax agency has been lacking in this area over the past couple of years. This is because of the crisis and lots of stimulus-related law changes passed by Congress for the IRS to administer. The good news is the IRS made progress on its processing of returns, in part because it went on a hiring spree and shifted current personnel from other areas to assist with the backlog. As of this summer, the IRS finished processing all individual returns that it received in 2021 and had no error. That passing a bold bill is its highest priority, and he was pleased to participate with colleagues on finding a way forward. Joe Manchin has voiced support in recent months for a package centered on clean energy spending, cutting prescription prices, and rolling back the 2017 Republican tax cuts. Democrats hope to cut a deal with Manchin on the bill as soon as possible. Some of the Democratic Party are pushing to strike an agreement on their priorities by Memorial Day. Inflation has been rising at a clip not seen in 4 decades, pushing up prices on just about everything and eating into household finances. To help residents grappling with the increased cost as a result of crisis-driven inflation, the Maine legislature passed a budget that included relief checks for Mainers. An estimated 850,000 residents will be eligible for the extra cash to help cover the increased cost of things, ranging from higher energy costs to increased prices for everyday goods. Governor Janet Mills' proposal was passed overwhelmingly by the state legislature, which will return half of the budget surplus to the taxpayers for a total of $729.3 million. Unlike last year's relief program, which was a thank you to Mainers who worked during the early days of the crisis, there is no wage requirement this time around. The state expects to send out checks to approximately 333,000 more residents through this program. Only full-time Maine residents that file a 2021 Maine individual income tax return and meet the income thresholds will receive the $850 inflation relief checks. Although the tax filing deadline has passed, Mainers can still submit a tax return to access the boost to their finances. However, they only have until October 31st, 2022. Also, those eligible must not be claimed. Borrowers could see the loan cancellation reflected on their accounts within 6 weeks. The relief payment will be limited to borrowers who make less than $125,000 a year, or married couples or head of households earning less than $250,000 a year. Their education department is also considering people's so-called adjusted gross income, which will affect how you will receive your stimulus payment. So people can also be getting many stimulus checks, everybody, this year. So if you want to be sure to get more stimulus payments, then be sure to continue watching this video. A lot of developments are being made about the fourth stimulus payment, Social Security benefits, SSDI and SSDI. You guys have to continue watching.